by last week of July 1966, I and Keshwar Nair wound up the camp in Chemmaniyod in the Angadipuram Melatur road and got back to the headquarters office in Chalapuram, kollengod. And the first thing I was asked to do was to settle the financial aspects of the field camp, which I did very promptly. And then I gave a request in writing to the geologist in charge, Mr. Palakkad Nair, that I may be relieved from my job as a professional assistant geologist in the department. He thankfully forwarded this letter to the headquarters office. But then he warned that whatever I wish that will not happen, instead I will be thrown out. And that's exactly what happened, which I learned only later on. Once I came back to Thrivikramji, our home in Trivandrum, I visited the University College where I got selected for the coaching class for the UPSC exam for the year 1966 October. Well, by middle, I think, of August, I went for the classes that were held in the evening. I attended a general English class as well as what is called Indian history, because Indian history was one of my electives, the other was geology. Of course, English is everybody is preparing or upscaling the skills in the English language. And the classes went on. It was a very interesting class because several of the guys now retired from the civil service were in that class, and some of the guys were also died, either intentionally killed or accident by an accident. Well, I tell you, in fact, in the 1966 coaching class that assembled in the University College, there were at least 10 guys who got into the Indian civil service, and Mr. Vishwanatha, late IPS official, got killed in a road accident on his way to home somewhere in the central Travancore. He was a lecturer in those days in the when the classes were on in the Trivandrum Engineering College. Of course, so was Roy Ball, who finally ended up in Delhi, Secretary Delhi, and then in the UPSC, and then of course now settled in somewhere in New Delhi. He is a brother of Babu Paul. Well, so this was a great batch, and of course I was very keen about my studies. My parents did not know what I was aiming at, but they thought I was aiming at something in the astral or let's say stratosphere. Well, they were wholeheartedly supporting my pursuit for preparing for this test. I was spending a lot of time in the library as well as at home, as well as in the what is called the coaching class, and reading up and whatever you call. But when the exams came, by I think by October first week or so, we received the hall ticket. I received the hall ticket. I went to the exam hall. Every other day there was the exam. In other words, in one whole week, the exam thing is over. In other words, you have to be in taking a paper, answering a paper in general English, then an English essay, an entire 3 hour, all are 3 hour sessions. Then of course the electives 3 hours each. Well, I did. What I would say is I did not do well. If had I been doing well in the exam, I would have been in a different path, of career path rather. So the results proved that I did not do well. And one thing I realized later on was that if anybody is planning for a civil service um, entry. Well, the preparation has to be started. The mindset has to be instilled right from the, I would say, high school classes. You cannot do it, there may be exceptionally brilliant guys, who would need only 5 or 6 months or 2 years to, when they enter post-graduation, to, aim their sights at the civil service. Anyway, it is a very tough test. And that's all I have to say. Only thing is, in conclusion, I can say is because I was told that later on, as I did not, do well in the general essay, the first paper, my other answer scripts will not be scrutinized or evaluated. So that is how you get the beautiful failure. If it is, failures are always beautiful because you have to consider it that way, because that is the stepping stone for success. Well, however, I did not do a second attempt at all, because by that time, for some reason, I thought, my career is in the field of geology. So another interesting thing that happened after October was that I received a call letter from the State Public Service Commission to appear for an interview for selection as assistant geologist. This job I applied along with Janardhanan from Calicut itself, because it is actually for the, whatever we are acting as in our acting job, the directorate was planning to fill in with regular posting. So obviously the interview took place somewhere around the middle of the month of November or third week of November, and we were only 5 candidates. Out of that, Mr. A. Thomas was my own classmate, and the rest of the guys were my own students, at least for a brief period during their final year MSc class. So obviously, I was sure that because there were only 5 candidates and 5 openings, I will get some slot in the selection. And luckily, all of us belong to the so-called forward community, and there was no rotation or reservation, etc., etc. So when the results came out, not surprisingly, maybe, that is what happens. I was placed as a third ranker. First rank went to A. Thomas, second rank went to P.C. George, third rank went to Thrivikramji, then Janardhan Iyer, and then Venkatachalam Iyer. Okay, so the interview was very interesting because, of course, the questions posed to me about geological knowledge, that was very cakewalk, simple. But one of the members, that is the director, late C.V. Paulos, what he pointedly asked me was what have been my job, what I have been doing after my post-graduation. Then I gave a narration, I was a research assistant informally to Professor Menon, then I was an instructor in geology, then I took up a job as a provisional assistant geologist in the Calicut office of the same department. And then he asked me, what happened to that position? I said, because I was an aspirant for the civil service examination, I had to quit that job. Then, Mr. C.V. Paulos very pointedly told me that you absconded from that job. The word absconding has a lot of meaning in civil, among government servants and the so-called service rules. But anyway, he intentionally probably gave a hint that I may have kind of a sort of a harder time. That's what probably he meant. And the hard time was actually by placing me as a third ranker, though I had a first class, first rank, both in BSc as well as MSc exams. Well, then I told myself that, you may be doing extraordinarily well in the written exam, but probably, when you compete for a job, the commission or the committee that looks for in you will be other than academics, traits, attributes other than academics. I don't know what is the truth. Anyway, then what had happened was, by about, I think before Christmas, I get a letter from the Public Service Commission saying that I have been advised for appointment as assistant geologist to such and such a department, that is Directorate of Mining and Geology. Then what I did not go to the Mining and Geology office to figure out what is the process going on, what is the progress on this advice, etc. However, I get a letter immediately after the Christmas vacation saying that I am appointed as an assistant geologist on a blah blah, etc. And I am posted in Kozhikode regional office, and I will be on what is called probation for 1 year. That was a letter signed by the director, and I am supposed to take the appointment, join the job within 15 days of receipt of this letter or communication. Then there was another letter in the form of a memo attached to it saying that, as I had absconded from a previous appointment in the same job position, a professional appointment, I had to mend my ways in future. Otherwise, I will have to face disciplinary consequences. I took it with a laugh, because what is going to happen anyway. Those at the age of 23, you don't worry about many things, obviously. So it was by 67, first week of January, I am back in what is called my old, the so-called job in Kozhikode, in the Chalapuram office of the regional office of mining and geology. No, Directorate of Geology. Well, my old friends like Keshwar Nair and, the peon Padmanabh Pillai and driver Joseph, as well as the office clerk, and of course Gopalakrishnan Nair, our boss. They all greeted me. Gopalakrishnan Nair said, hey, you have to be very careful. That man is a very dirty man. He keeps all the grudge in his mind, and he will act against you whenever you give him an opportunity to act. Well, I said, okay, sir, I will be very careful. And then one of the things Gopalakrishnan Nair said was, well, hey, Vikramji, you are going back to the field, this time to kollengod in Palakkad district. And you have to do, continue the exploration of iron or whatever. So that was a very interesting thing. I loved to be in the field rather than sitting in the office and puffing away Panama cigarettes, maybe one whole pack a day. So Keshwar Nair and I packed up and took a bus from Kozhikode to Palakkad. And by about 4 o'clock, kollengod is not in the Palakkad, in the suburb of Palakkad. So we took a city bus or a private bus from Palakkad town to kollengod. And kollengod, before 4 or 5 o'clock, we got to kollengod. We went to a tea shop where we had some snacks and tea, then inquired about the location of the Travelers' Bungalow in kollengod. Well, we always keep track of the Travelers' Bungalow because that is a place where you can stay overnight or for a week or two together when you are on an official mission. So we were directed correctly to the kollengod TB, and the caretaker was sleeping in the veranda. We walked in there, and he all of a sudden stood up and said, good evening, sir. Naturally, we asked whether you have a room. He said, yes, you have a room, but it is not, the best in the world. But anyway, you have drinking water facility and electricity there. So we said, we told him that we are officials from the Mining and Geological Directorate of Geology, and we need a room for 10 days. So he gladly opened the room and gave a new bed spread, everything else, and then told us, sir, this is a very crummy place, not an exciting place. For everything you have to go to the small town, headquarters of the kollengod, small town, where you can buy food or eat or whatever. And which is in a walking distance of 10 minutes. And the electricity can be occasionally interrupted, and if the interruption happens at night, it will not come back. So with this advice, he told us, I will take you to the tea shop where you can have your supper, and I will introduce you people to the shop fellow. So that part was done, and the next day we were on our footwork. And of course, we were walking around, initially a trip by bus to get off at some place, and we got off at a place called Muthalamala. And then, we made a traverse. So we walked about, up and down maybe 4 hours, yes. Then we came back to Muthalamala again, and took a bus to kollengod. This continued for 3-4 days in different directions. We have arranged the traverses. And one day evening, around 5 o'clock, when we were walking up toward the tea shop, this is a day of break day, that is a Sunday where we will not go for some reason anywhere. So one, what is called a pleasure palakkad, I call it. All of a sudden stopped in front of us. And the coach, the coachman, the owner himself, he was actually reclining in the cart and asked us, hey, young man, what are you doing here? I've been watching you for a while. Then we said, we are here for such and such a thing. Oh, interesting. Why don't you come and stay in my home, which is on Muthalamala? It's a good place for you to live. Only my son is there, and we will I will send food from our home to you for the supper, because you will be in the office, in the home, you will be working somewhere outside. And I thought, thank you, sir. He identified himself as a wealthy landlord, and owned something like huge parcels of paddy land, and as they call it, Card is the dry land. And dry land farming, cashew, groundnut, etc., and also mango. So the next day he had to send another, cart, pressure cart, and we jumped into that cart and went to Vedachara Kesavan's bungalow on the roadside in Muthalamala, and we were greeted by his son, Mr. Murugesan. Well, this gentleman, Murugesan, is like in the mid-20s, and he has, we discovered, some kind of a mental development problem. He looks all right, but he did not go and complete all the college or high school, because the parents decided he is no good for good at studies. So we greeted that man, and he took us to our room, and we started living there for about 1 month, until say like middle of February. So that is what happened in our kollengod camp. And one more thing that happened in kollengod camp was, one of those days, the Satya Sai Baba made a visit to kollengod Kovilagam, and we had a glimpse of this Satya Sai Baba getting precious things out of his lock of hair and giving it away to chosen disciples. We had an opportunity to see this person, God man, and that needs special mention in this context. Thank you. We will meet with another episode in the next time.